Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren and I'm Michelle, and we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Buongiorno, listener, and welcome to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I am your host, Lauren, coming in from Umbria, Italy, and Michelle is joining us. Ciao! From LaGrange Park, Illinois, which is a wonderful, lovely area of the Midwest. So kudos to that.
Well, you know what? It's fine. It's
beautiful.
Fine.
LaGrange is a beautiful suburb.
I love it, but when we're talking about what we're about to talk about, and you send pictures like that, it's great. It's a wonderful place, yes, but it's just not Umbria, if I can be honest.
It's not, but you know what? C'est la vie. I don't even know what that means, but I think it
sounds like something you say at this part, so yeah.
You guys, welcome to Cozy Conversations. We're going to make this intro quick and sassy because I've got wine to drink and Michelle's got a cleaning lady to attend to.
I've got to clean for her.
Yeah, exactly. Which always makes me laugh. Mom used to do that. She's like, I'm cleaning for the cleaning lady.
Who everyone does. Nobody leaves their house like a dump for the nice person to come in and clean the shit around the shit.
But I kind of think if you do, that's okay too, because...
No, you need to put things away. It needs to get tidy. Dump. It needs to get tidy.
Well, before we move into our cozy Italian conversation and catch up, you guys, don't forget to sign up for our Net Game Pickleball League.
Yes.
Michelle, can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yes, the sign-up date is approaching quickly on September 23rd. So here's the day. The official day to sign up for the league is September 23rd. The league fee is $200. If you sign up on September 3rd, you get, are you ready? A $20 discount. The league is going to run from October 16th through December 11th. It's a 24-player league, and those spots are going to get swiped up quick.
Yeah, they are.
So mark your calendar. We're going to leave 2 links in the show notes for you to check out. The first link is something that you can do just to get ahead of the game here. It's to create a guest account over at NetGame. Our friends at NetGame are hosting this league. So go there, sign and set up your guest link account. And then on September 23rd, you can go ahead and click the second link in the show notes and you can sign up and register for the actual league. Boom and boom. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it as things start rolling out.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram, you guys, at the Sister Proj, because you'll see a lot of information there as well. And since you're signing up for things, you guys join us for the LaGrange Witch Ride because it's going to be fucking fun.
Yep,
we are also a small little sponsor of it. So come join us. We're going to dress up in all of our witch gear, get on bikes and throw candy at kids, and then have the after party at the Elm. We'll drop the link in the show notes as well. All right, we have a lot of catching up to do. So you guys stay cozy, enjoy the conversation, and ciao for now. We are in, are we recording?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me? Why do I feel like I
can hear you perfectly. I'm just going to do this real quick. Cheers. Oops. Hello.
Oh, cheers. Fuck you. I just did a whole Instagram story on FOMO that I'm having. Lauren, wait a second. I need to get this out of the way. Thank you. God.
Okay. Wait, let me put my phone on. Do not disturb you guys. I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, you are. And I cannot wait. I was kind of thinking that I like the cozy conversations we're having are true catch-ups because...
Oh, they're catch-ups, all right.
But I have lost you.
I'm
okay,
back.
There you're back.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hi.
Do we need to take a quick breather?
Let me just...
Hello. Hi,
What
sister.
up? How
Hello.
are you? Where are you?
Good questions. Great questions. Listener, Michelle, okay, at the moment, we are in Umbria. So we left San Felice yesterday and arrived in Umbria because my dear friend Jenny Kaufman and Patty Lupo are hosting a yoga retreat at this like old ass farm. I mean, it is old. It's 14th century.
Oh my God, that's
It's
so
a
cool.
14th century farm and it's right outside of Orvieto. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that little town, but it's a very famous town here in Umbria that we plan to check out, but it's pissing rain right now. Hence why
I
I'm soaking wet.
seen, oh my God, Lauren. Well, I have to tell you on TikTok, the same fellow that was like, if you are traveling in Italy during the days of September 7th to the 9th, there will be no train. That same guy is like, if you are traveling in Italy right now, bear down because the weather is going to get insane.
It is. It's a lot. I mean, it's like literally pissing rain. And I will say that today we went to, I think it's pronounced Civita, and
Okay.
it is known also as like the dying city because you guys pull out your phone right now and type in Civita, and it is like this town on a rock cliff in the middle of what looks like the Badlands. If you're familiar with the Badlands look like, it is in the middle of, it's like nothing I've ever seen before.
The picture you sent me, jaw dropped.
And it is a journey to get there. You can't drive there. So you park as close as you can park. So we parked about a 20-minute walk from the 20-minute, 30-minute walk it takes to get across this pedestrian bridge you walk
to. Question. Was Luna straddling her father's shoulder for the entire walk?
So for the walk up partially. And that gave me a little bit of anxiety because I tell you what, you fall over that pedestrian bridge and you're a goner. I mean, and I was like, Anthony, you have to walk in the middle. And I'm not afraid of heights, but this was actually giving me a little bit of like some kind of vertigo, like vom inducing feelings. So we walked up there and it was like nothing I have ever seen before in my life. You feel like you're walking around in medieval times.
The picture, what you're saying right now, until you actually see the picture, because I saw it and Ryan and I could not believe it's magnificent.
It's bananas.
Are people living there?
So
I mean, if we could just create a visual, you basically walked along this super long bridge into, is it a town, a functional town, or is it just like a relic that you visit?
No, both. It's like both. So, Okay, so from what I understand, I mean, it's like you literally walk like the Great Wall of China to get there.
That's exactly that's what I thought of as soon as I saw it.
I was like, oh my God. So you get there and then once you walk up, you have like your little like kind of touristy stops and, you know, like shops with like magnets and some clay, a lot of ceramic stuff. But there's actually a lot of restaurants there. And we went to a restaurant, Adriana, and our waiter was very excited to have us there. And he was very excited when Anthony ordered this chicken dish because Harry Styles, yes, Harry Styles.
Oh my God.
In the same restaurant in the spring, in the Primavera. And he ordered his favorite dish is the chicken dish. And there's a plate that is signed by Harry Styles. Like it's their claim to fame. So he was very excited to tell us about it. Yeah. And so it seems as though I heard that there's not a lot of people that live there and it's basically shops, restaurants, and Airbnbs. Like you can go there and stay there. And there's like, you know, the like cafe and bars. It's phenomenal. If you are ever in Umbria, you have to go. Oh
my God.
And we got very lucky with the weather because we journeyed there and it was a journey. We journeyed there this morning, which we thought would maybe be like an hour and a half, 2 hour experience. It was like a 5-hour experience. And Luna did fucking awesome, man. She is just
because she's a professional traveler.
She's turning into a traveler and she's very independent. We want to sometimes like be, you know, like to get down. We were like, okay, Luna, let's go. And she's like, no, she wants to walk. So we're like, all right, it'll just take a little longer.
Totally.
But whatever. So now we are in Umbria until 2 more days, and then we go to Poggibonsi for our family wedding. But Michelle, I have to tell you about our visit in Fondi with our family.
Oh my God. That's when the FOMO really kicked into high gear. Tell me everything. I'm so sad. I'm so sad about it.
And they were sad to miss you. So, listener, you have to understand, we stayed in the area of Italy that we stayed in specifically to see our family. And sadly, they were closing their restaurant, which was like a recovery in and of itself. So they had to recover from that. But then they fell ill with COVID. I don't know if we shared this on our last podcast episode, but
I don't think so.
They got COVID. So that was a week of our stay. We got to visit them for 1 day, and we were there for 2 weeks. But I have to say that
Tell me
the
everything.
1 day was amazing. So
where did you go? Where did you guys go?
So we went to our cousin Mirella and Giovanni's home in Fondi, and I have to say that they moved from their old house.
I was wondering. Okay.
Oh my God, it is gorgeous. And our other cousin, it's almost like rustic, shabby, chic, regal is the design of their home. So they live they own the building they live in. They have an apartment at the bottom for my cousin Valeria. So when she visits from Milano, she can stay there. And then Giovanni and Mirella live in the center space, and then upstairs they were like, and that's where they do all their laundry. They call it like that's their laundry area. So I don't know what they got up there, but it sounds like it's a
busy. Working space.
It's a working
God.
Space.
Okay.
So we got there, but I have to say, before we got there, we had to visit another family that was not my family. We had to visit my uncle-in-law, Uncle Frank, who we've spoken a bit about here. Uncle Frank's brother-in-law, Peppino and Enza, and their family. We had to stop by. And Anthony's like, don't worry, it'll be a quick stop. Well, I know better.
Did they open up? What kind of food did they have for you guys?
This quick stop turned into like lunch. So we were running late to see my family. But you know what? Honestly, I was like, I can't have anxiety about this kind of stuff. So I was like, you know what? We're going to be late to my family at this point. I was apologizing as much as I could in Italian, but we had to stop at this place too, because timing was just so happens that this is how it turned out. So we stopped at Peppino and Enza's house. And when we got there, they offered us an aperitivo. But Michelle, I have to tell you, so we've been talking about aperitivo in our last podcast episode, and we were talking about like alcoholic spritzes. Well, they offered us a bubbly, like bitter aperitif, non-alcoholic. And I think it's to just kind of like get your belly ready for all of the formaggi and cured meats.
I remember having these when I was in Fondi the last time. I remember this.
We need to kind of integrate this into
yes.
Like when we have Sunday dinners, that like when I get back and I'm hosting Sunday dinner.
Yes, this is another thing you're bringing back from Italy.
I'm bringing back the non-alcoholic bubbly bitter sip that you drink and sip before you consume a shit ton of food.
Can't wait to have one.
So Peppino and Enzo were so welcoming. Luna made herself at home. They forced fed her homemade meatballs. It was brilliant. So then after we left there, we arrived at our family's home.
And wait, are you like wait, Lauren, are you translating?
Yeah.
Are you basically the communicator for everybody?
I am, but we called Uncle Frank. So when we were at Peppino and Enza, Uncle Frank, who was in Chicago, was up at 3 a.m. anticipating our phone call.
I love him.
We had Uncle Frank on FaceTime in the corner.
Was he wearing a gladiator helmet? And a shield while he was waiting.
No,
he is like, to me, he looks like a gladiator. I love him.
Uncle Frank was born on Halloween, and every year on Halloween, he wears a gladiator.
I love him so much.
Full on metal, people, okay? And like a skirt, okay?
Borderline attracted. You know me and my affinity for gladiators.
So, love you. So Uncle Frank was kind of our translator there. But when we got to our family's house, yes, me and Fabrizio. So when we arrived, we park our car, and here comes Fabrizio, who is our 38-year-old, 35-year-old cousin, who is just, I'm quite close with him because we have visited Italy several times, and I actually showed him a photo of him and I in Fondi together 20 years ago.
That's amazing.
And he's giving me a bracelet, and someone took it. I don't even know who took the photo, but he's handing me a bracelet, and I'm putting it on my wrist. I'm in a bikini, the best shape of my life, and he's like prepubescent, and he's putting, and we're laughing. I showed him this photo, and he had this memory that neither one of us spoke the language, and all we would say is, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Everything was, it's okay. Like, my foot fell off. It's okay. I have no more money to pay for food. It's okay. It's okay. Because that's the only thing we knew how to say together.
But now look at you guys. It's
I know.
so amazing.
And new development, he was so sad that he couldn't see us because he had COVID. He is going to meet me and our family and my friends, Maggie and Patrick, who are meeting us in Rome. He's going to visit us in Rome because it's an hour ride on the train. So it's okay. Exactly. It's the Italian way of life. It's okay.
Oh my God.
So, we parked the car and he came out, and it's so, when you don't see someone for such a long time, like he's gotten older, he's got a beard, not old, but like just
but he's like grown into himself. He's like a man. He's a man.
He's such a wonderful human being. So he, helped us, brought us in. He was so excited to meet Luna. And then we get there upstairs into the apartment where we see Maurizio and Marina, who are like the uncles, the Zio and Zia of Fabrizio. And Fabrizio's mom and dad are Mirella and Giovanni. And then the matriarch of the family, of course, is Elena. And Elena, it was a highlight to see her. So let me tell you a little bit about Elena, you guys.
Please.
Elena is now 93 years old. And I don't understand Elena because her
dialect is strong.
And she speaks just like a different Italian than I've ever heard. So there's a lot of translating for us. But there were a couple things. So Elena, I believe, is the cousin of our grandfather, of course.
She's our grandfather's first cousin.
Yeah. And so that's how the relation of our families work. And, the first time I had my favorite Italian dish, vongole, spaghetti alla vongole, was in Elena's restaurant. So that was 20 years ago. And I can almost remember the first bite of it. And I've been chasing that flavor ever since. It's like a drug. Well, Michelle, I have to tell you something. I'm sharing this with them. I told them, I'm like, you guys, since we've been here, I've had at least 4 to 5 plates of vongole, and none of them are the same as Elena. And vongole, you guys, are these tiny, imagine like a clam and think the smallest clam you could ever imagine. And even the meat of the clam is maybe about the size of a penny. So it's a very small, shellfish, which I also like. It's appetizing because it's not huge and, gross. And I tell them, I said, you guys, I have been obsessed with Elena's vongole since day one. And they shared with me that people call from Rome. They call the restaurant and say, hey, listen, we're driving down with 15 people, but we're not going to come for the vongole unless Elena
making it.
Is in the kitchen. So
I heard she is the most incredible cook. To have eaten her food, you have been blessed.
It's a gift. You've been blessed. So people literally call up and specifically request her presence in the kitchen. So,
and so she's
I'm
still
just drinking
cooking
some delicious Umbrian red wine.
Oh my God!
So she is still cooking, and I said, is she still working at the restaurant? And in fact, she is, because she insists. She cuts her. So I believe you say pulpo, which is octopus. And she has such a special way of cutting it that only she and she only will cut the pulpo for their insalata di mare. So their seafood salad. God. So it's a very specific way of operation, if you will, in their restaurant. And Elena runs the ship. She is, as they call her in English, the boss.
She is amazing.
So I have a very funny story. So we're sitting there and, at this point, I'm going to share that, you guys, my mother-in-law has been with us the entire time of this trip. And we've kept it a little bit of a secret because by now that you're listening, listener, our family she's surprising our family at the wedding we're going to.
And when is the wedding? Is that in a few days? It will be on Thursday. Okay.
It'll be on Saturday, but by now we are already with family. So the jig is
thank
up. Candy,
God.
Candy,
can
my
we
mother-in-law.
Talk about her?
So Candy, we have been transitioning Candy into a full-blown freaking Italian.
Full-blooded, 100%.
And Candy's Italian to begin with, and she looks it, but now the transition is almost complete.
It's done. It's final. When is she moving there? Is she staying? Are you bringing her back?
We're nearly complete now. She doesn't even want to go home. She's like, I'm like, do you miss being home? She's like, no. I mean, she might miss her dogs, but she's good. But now we're sitting at our families.
I love her so much.
I love her. And we've been having a blast. And she's been with us, and she will stay with us for the duration of this full month. Now we're sitting at dinner with our family. And Candy, I look over and Candy's sitting there, and Candy doesn't speak any Italian at all. So she's that person at the table that really doesn't understand anything. And kind of Anthony too. We're getting a lot of like, trying to mix and match English and Italian. I look over and Candy's got her sunglasses on and we're about, halfway through the first course. And I'm like, okay. Full blown sunglasses. I'm thinking they might think she's blind, but I'm not going to say anything because Candy's wearing her sunglasses. It's a very bright living room. And so we're just thinking, whatever. And then after dinner, after everyone, we've got our dolce, our fruit, and we have our espresso, and everyone kind of disperses and we're kind of walking, just doing our own thing. Candy finally takes off her sunglasses and doesn't realize that she's been wearing them the entire time. And she is dying because she's like, oh my God, have I had my sunglasses on? I'm like, yeah, little Richard. Yeah, Stevie Wonder. Are you okay?
Oh my God, I've done that
and
before.
I'm sitting here thinking, I know you have, Michelle. I've been with you. And I'm like, are you what's going on here, Stevie?
No, I'm pretending I'm blind.
And I'm thinking maybe she was just kind of nervous because she doesn't speak the language. So maybe no eye contact. She just forgot to put off her prescription sunglasses.
Hilarious. Well, I mean, talk about really the full transition and the sunglasses. I mean, chic AF, Italian chic.
Trey chic.
Trey chic.
So after we visit with her family and we say goodbye, and as usual, like tears squirt out quickly when I said goodbye to Elena and I told Elena the last time I saw Elena, which was in 2016, I said to her, I remember on the driveway of the restaurant, I said, the next time I come here, I will have a baby. And I kind of lied to her then because I didn't even want to have one, but I just thought maybe that's what I should say to Nona Elena. And so I brought her to meet Luna, and I have captured one of the most precious photos I will treasure for literally the rest of my life of her giving her a kiss and squeezing her cheek because it's very Italian to squeeze the cheek.
It's so Italian. It's a rite of passage to be on the receiving end of said squeeze.
It is a rite of passage, Michelle. You are so correct. So now
that's awesome. I can't wait to see that pic.
Mm-hmm. And now we're walking through Fondi, and there's two sides of the family that live in Fondi. Is the side that I'm telling you about, and then there's another side that I don't know as well, but I know they exist. And my cousin on the side that we visited said, we messaged Bruno, who is part of a different side of the family, and he didn't write back. So I said, no big deal. This is kind of last minute, and it's not a big deal. We're walking through Fondi's piazza, and who do we run into but our other cousin, Bruno Massarella. And they call him a bear, an orso.
He's the sweetest, gentle giant of a man.
And he and I were kind of like, we were so happy to see one another, but it was also kind of sad because it was like we didn't have that moment to and so we saw him, we talked for a moment, then he came back over and he's like, can we get a photo together? I'm like, of course we can, Bruno.
That makes me cry.
It was really sweet. And he told me, he goes, I'm 70 now. You guys, he looks like he's 55. I just want to say that
another Italy plus.
They're just
aging backwards.
They're aging back. I mean, he looks what all of my family does here. All of our family does here, Michelle. It was really lovely to see him because I remember 20 years ago when I came here for the first time, he was so welcoming. I think he got my brother really, really, and my sister Nicole really drunk on grappa.
On homemade wine. Remember, everybody's teeth is about the color of your shirt.
Brown purple.
George Washington.
But really cool fact about Fondi. So Fondi is smack dab in the middle between Rome and Naples. And it was before a highway was mapped out and created. Fondi was the main, they call it the Via Appia. It was the Roman Via Appia. It was the main road to get goods back and forth between Rome and to Naples. So it was like a main center of a trade and whatnot. And it has a very, very ancient history dating back to about 1000 BC.
Oh my God.
And its first settlement. It's really fucking cool. Fondi, listener, listen to me. I know people go to Rome and the Amalfi Coast, and I shouldn't be sharing this right now because I don't want this very special place to blow up like social media, but do yourself a favor and go to the southern part of the Lazio region, which is where Rome is. Go to the southern part of the Lazio region and visit the beach towns that makes up Fondi and Sperlonga and Gaeta because it is a gem of a place. I'm very serious and it's you're away from the crowds. You're away from all the fucking social media. Everyone needs this picture bullshit.
Yep.
It is a secret place. And I'm sharing that with you here and now because it's for our listeners. It's just something that I think you guys should know about. It's different than all of the places that everyone goes to.
Last night I was with the pigs and they were asking about the trip and stuff. And I was talking to Joel and he said, I've never been to Italy. And I literally said exactly what you said. I said, well, when you go, come talk to us and you go plan your trip around these sleepy little seaside towns and villages that are so rich with culture and history and are so picturesque and so less traveled and
so less
lovely, magical magic.
So when we were walking around Fondi, we stopped in this really cool museum church thing. I mean, it was wild. It's hard to even put into words, but we had an opportunity to speak with a true historian, a man that sits and waits till someone interested comes in. And he was telling us a little bit. And our cousin Maurizio looked at me, and in Italian, Fabrizio translated for me. He looked at me, he goes, "You have Fondi in your blood." And I was like, oh, and so do you, Michelle. We all do. And it made me feel really proud to be
connected to a place,
a special, unique place, really special. And to know that we have roots there. When on our podcast, we've talked about where the fuck did we come from? At least we know part of where we came from.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, and especially when you're mixed with a whole bunch of things. Like, we know that we're from Fondi. It's fucking cool.
I'm like, my heart hurts just a little that I wasn't there.
I have a gift for you from Mirella. She is so sad and sorry she missed you. Like, really, they all were asking. They were literally like, "Where's Michelle?" I'm like, "You guys, she went home."
Yep. Next year.
Michelle,
We're coming back.
My friend Jenny called this a pilgrimage. She's like, "Will you be doing this annual pilgrimage?" I'm like, "Well, now that you put it like that."
The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Two other things. The Tyrian Sea is what these beaches and the seaside towns all are on.
Oh, good. I'll stop calling it the Tyrrhenian then.
Oh, it's probably the Tyrrhenian. I don't fucking know. And I didn't know that it had sharks either. You guys, I'm petrified of sharks. And when I looked it up, it was literally Italy they've had shark attacks. So just fucking scary. That freaks me out. But on the other side, YOLO, I want to flip the coin here and talk about something in Italy that has blown me away about traveling with a toddler. Every restaurant I've gone into and sat down and Luna props herself up, they say, "Hello, water. Do you want, frizzante, sparkling or still?" And right after that is, for the child, what does she want? And they make sure that her food is brought out right away because they know. They get it, that if she doesn't get her food and she's just waiting around, she's going to go bananas perhaps. And they literally prioritize the kid. And I wish that is something else I can bring back to Italy or back to the States is prioritizing. And I'm not saying make huge exceptions, but when a family comes in, take the kid's order right away. Let's rock and roll. It just makes it a lot easier when you know the food is coming for the kid, and then you can sit there with your glass of wine, your kid's being fed.
Especially in Italy, where it's really not a rush. But on the flip side too, even though they're hustling to get the kid accommodated, you don't feel hustled and rushed through your dining experience. It almost makes it better because of that circumstance, and which is also something that we got to bring back, chilling through the dining experience instead of being in a race against a clock to get home, put the kid to bed, whatever. Yeah, that's nice.
So you're absolutely right, because you get there, they take the order, and then you're sipping your wine knowing that the child's food is coming.
Yep.
And you're not chugging your wine being
Look, I pulled a crayon out of my ear. Hang on a second.
And not going to lie, there's still a little bit of that, but it's not as terrifying going to a restaurant. It's amazing. And Luna gets up and walks around, and even the other patrons. It's just been, I will say that has been a huge highlight of our experience here is traveling with Luna. I thought it was going to be more difficult, but I feel like someone actually said this to me at the yoga retreat. One of the yogis here said, honestly, traveling with a 2 to 6 year old is awesome. She goes, it's kind of harder sometimes when they become teenagers because they might not be as interested or as wowed by the things that you're wowed by.
100%.
It's
That's
kind of,
a
I was
total effect.
yeah.
I mean, traveling with a teen is super fun in a different way, but they have an agenda too.
They do too.
And they might not align, from a whole, they have opinions. That's the other thing. They get to that age, they're grown adult people.
And you're like, oh, you want to go to that store instead of
you
go
want
see
to
the
have
Coliseum?
You want to have pizza again? All right.
Okay. But one of my favorite photos and moments of Mia in Sabodia
oh my God, yeah.
was seeing her joy and that smile. Michelle captured a photo. Mia was with us at a part of the trip that there's a lot of seafood because when you're by the seaside, of course, you're getting fresh fish. And Mia wasn't really as into that part. So she wanted pizza. And you captured the joy in her. And that actually made for me a very special moment because I saw her enjoying a moment of Italy more than any aspect of it than she had been enjoying, which was a lot of it. But that just made her happy. It made me, as her traveling aunt, happy.
Same, dude.
So
Same.
I have to say, at this moment, I think we are caught up on the Italy aspect travels. Right now, we are here in Umbria, and we will stay here for 2 more days. I'm looking outside, pissing rain, really pissing. So we'll just kind of bunker down, drink some wine, and just hang out. Until then, I will keep you guys posted on my next week. We will touch base, and we will be in Rome by the time we connect.
And I can't wait to connect again in this fashion. This is working out, these cozy convos from afar.
It really is. And I'm in a very cozy little farm, so it's all working out. Michelle, do you have anything I don't see any notes of your ketchup, so.
Well, I mean, I do have some ketchup. Yesterday, I spent, about 4 hours on the pickleball court. I have really been getting and going playing early in the morning, and then I need a brain break at noon. So sometimes I head over to the other courts, and I just have to say this sport continues to feed my, joy, checking the box. Yesterday I played in the morning. I shared some stories on social media. And then in the afternoon, when I went over and played at this other park, the interactions that I have with, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted right now. I'm trying
Why?
What's going on? What's that noise?
Oh, there's a little bit of pillow fluffing over here.
Got it. Okay.
I'm at a working farm. Okay, moving along to our hot topic. As I was just here in Umbria perusing some news, I came across a really cool story. Well, it was more of like an article, if you will, about intention setting. And as a yoga instructor and as a yogi, this really spoke to me because even in the article, they talk specifically about it's not just for yogis or at the beginning of your yoga class. Should you be setting intentions? In fact, they are saying what experts are saying about setting intentions. Setting intentions is more than just setting goals. It's about being purposeful in pursuing your desires. And this is coming from Shape Magazine. And within this article, they're speaking to a certified mindfulness coach as well as a psychologist about, this was, I think, my favorite part, Michelle, is that instead of feeling like a victim of circumstance, when you set intentions, you become a conscious creator of your day and of your life. And when I saw this, it actually reminded me of you because you guys have to understand, Michelle will like text message me and she'll be like, all right, business is open. The portal for making deals has been opened. Why?
And then it happens.
And then
it happens. It's really like a lasso effect. It's like a whoosh,
Michelle.
And I don't know when or why I started doing this. I remember the first time I think I said an intention out loud. I was 16 and I was like, I'm playing soccer in college. And then from that point on, that became a thing. Saying last year, I'm going to put muscle on. Last night, I was with my band. They were all working on some things, and I found a beam above my head, and I pulled myself up into a pull-up. I could not do those things 12 months ago.
Michelle,
and it's
bravo.
I know.
Brava.
But it's those things that you say it like Mel Robbins, state it and claim it, talk about it, put it out there.
Well, that's how this whole Italy thing came about. This was months ago.
Totally.
We're going to Italy and we're going for a month and that's it. We're going to do it. And then we were like, well, how are we going to do it? And I know there was even a little bit of like, well, how are we going to work from afar? But I have gotten into the groove. I mean, I don't know whether to say this or not, but I've been working more efficiently being on this trip.
What is it? What is it?
I think it is that I know that these are my only hours to be working. So I take advantage of it and I do it and I get my job done and then I go journey and then I come back and do more work.
But then is it also not the distractions of being at home that affect maybe the inability to do it like you're doing it here?
Yeah, like, oh, whoops, there's some dishes in the sink. I should go clean those first. Now it's like, it's bare minimum of like, housely duties and whatnot. And it's just get your shit done and go enjoy and also go explore and see the world, which is what my life's intention is to see the world. And I'm, in doing this trip, this was very much so a kind of like a trial run. It's like, can we do it? How do we do it? How do we how do we still work and whatnot? But to dive a little deeper into this article, they talk about the concept of intention setting. And they say, yeah, it might sound woo-woo or something that you might do before a yoga class, but that it's foundational to anyone with goals. So AKA most any human being.
Yeah, everyone should have goals. You should have goals.
And they're talking not only about like these long-term goals, but even daily goals or momentary goals.
Today's going to be an amazing day is setting an intention.
Honestly, like today I knew that there was rain expected. And I know that people can get really down and out about rain on a trip. But for me, Candy was actually like, Lauren, get under the umbrella. And I'm like, honestly, this is so cleansing. Because I woke up this morning with the intention that it's my mantra, it's going to be an amazing day. Incredible things are going to happen. And also rain or shine, we're going to experience an amazing thing today. So that didn't cramp my style. That didn't, make me butthurt about, we're getting wet and it's Luna, Luna was fine. Actually, it was totally fine. And I think that when it comes to intention setting, it's one of those things that helps us, any individual, create their own story.
Yes.
And that's what they dive into a little bit more about on this article. What they're saying that is particularly if your intention is solidly aligned with your values, then you have a powerful tool for moving forward and achieving your desires. And what we mentioned at the beginning, I love this. There's this whole thing like a victim of circumstance. Things happen to me, or, oh, woe is me. And this intention setting kind of gets your ass. Even if like shit does happen to you, you can set that intention to be like, okay, this sucked, but now I have to actually move forward and change the trajectory of maybe a shitty day or a month or this job that's not doing it for me. My intention is to look for a better job or a better relationship.
Yep.
And as woo-woo as all this might sound, you're in charge of your own fucking life. So if you don't do this kind of stuff, you will be a victim of circumstances every single day. And I've been that person. I've been like, oh, why don't I do, I've had moments where I've done the woe is me, why me?
The woe is me. And then also like putting out the negative. Like I've woken up and said, I'm going to pop off at that person later.
Yes.
And then I pop off. I like predict the future with my shitty bad intention.
Totally. And they're talking about when setting an intention, it's like laying the foundation for what you'd like to have, feel, and experience versus, let's highlight bold this part, versus just being a passive participant going through the motions.
It really is a lot. Like it aligns very much with the idea of visualizing. I think setting an intention sounds like more of the woo-woo way of visualizing, seeing, like you said, feeling, experiencing what it will feel like, be like when you do said thing or
Exactly.
accomplish said intention, you know?
Absolutely. So there's a woman here, Melissa Max, who is a certified mindfulness coach, and she explains that intentions provide you with the opportunity to actively participate in the life that you want, the way that you want to live it. So at the beginning of my yoga class, that's kind of what I do. I will open up the space and be like, you're here now. You have no phone. You have no distractions besides the ones that are in your brain and mind.
Mhm.
So set the intention, whether it's for this class. And if it's like a seasonal shift, if we're shifting in the season, I'll say like maybe it's for the fall season ahead or this new month, whatever it might be, depending on the time of day I'm teaching this class or time of year. And I think that could be just as easy for anyone. So it's, for instance, you're listening to this, maybe it's the Thursday this comes out, Friday's going to roll around. What are your intentions for the weekend? And are you looking to have a relaxing weekend? Are you looking to have a get shit done weekend?
Yeah.
Or a healthy balance of both? And that's the kind of vibe you set by intentionally saying so, whether it's out loud or in a journal, etc. So I think we can dive a little bit into the how to. So state your intentions. When you decide what you want, vocalize it or write it down. Doing so may not only feel cathartic, but it can also help hold you accountable.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's kind of
back to my whole talking about being strong. I said it on social media. I've talked to you about it on the podcast.
Same.
I've had conversations with my friends about it. And that has in itself been the thing that has kept me to continue going. Partly is it's out there. You're putting it out into the universe.
Totally. And even with this Italy trip, I remember the first time I kind of said it on the podcast. I'm like, I think we're going to Italy for a month. And that was honestly what I love too. It scared me a little bit.
Yep.
And I think that kind of with intention setting, you know what they say, is it worth doing if it doesn't scare you? That if, the things that scare you, it's worth doing. And
Totally.
Even this trip, to be gone for a month from my home, from my family, from my work, with a toddler, it's like there was a little bit of fear, but that's kind of what lit the fire under me. Because honestly, it's a challenge too. And that's another thing. It was me going outside of my own comfort zone
and actually doing the hard thing that you'd been talking about. And probably a lot of what prolonged the actual, execution of it was getting to the point, doing the things. I had a conversation with Will this morning, and I kind of have these conversations with my kids periodically about fear and saying the thing and stepping out of your comfort zone and putting yourself out there. I'm like, every day I'm like, what's that one thing you're going to say hi to that person you wouldn't really normally do in the hallway? You're going to stand up in class and raise your hand
Speak
first.
up.
I'm like, and we laugh because I'm like, what's on the other side of that fear? A whole lot of fun, man. It's true.
You're a good mom. You're really
I hope
good
they
mom.
listen. We'll see.
Even if it's not right at this moment, that will stick with them.
Yeah, I hope.
Because there's things like even Dad has shared with me about like visualizing that at the moment when we were driving to my track meet when I was a sophomore in high school. I was like, I don't care what you're talking about. Now I'm like, visualize, set the intention.
Yep.
The next step, of course, is to be clear, Michelle. And as you shared, like Mel Robbins says, state it and claim it.
Yep.
So whatever
happens all the time.
And whatever your intentions are, it's necessary to be clear about what you want to achieve and think about the results that you'll obtain from it.
Another gal, very woo-woo, who talks about these things is Abraham Hicks, who's a channeler.
Oh, yes.
But she is all about being specific. You have to know exactly what you want or else it will not arrive.
And the more I think about it too, because as I've shared here on the podcast, I can say that I have had to like negate some negative internal dialogue. And that's not always easy to do. Like but honestly, I feel like now even saying it, I'm like, God, I don't even do that much anymore. It kind of feels like an old me. And, once you start getting the pattern of being more optimistic, which leads us to the next step, and more positive about your intentions, the more your brain goes in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like my health anxiety, for instance, when I'm on a road of health anxiety, that all I see is
miserable
doom and gloom.
place.
No,
miserable.
and it's fucking scary.
It's that bridge you were walking onto, that magical place without the magical place at the end. It was just a big drop off.
It's one way to put it. And it's true. It's true. You almost feel like you're just kind of like moving towards nothing. And when you shift that and say, okay, like that, I don't want that mindset. I want this one. You start to create, like what you say often, Michelle, like neural pathways of more, like invigorating. And I know the word positive, we might think like toxic positivity, but listen, I'll take toxic positivity over doom and gloom and health anxiety any fucking day. So if I've got to reroute it and like steer turn the wheel quickly to the right just to get me refocused, I go in that direction.
I don't think we need to always give that whole positive
toxic
label a negative. You know,
right.
It's like, because it really is, well, you can be negative and you can wallow in those low vibing, nothing ever is going to work out for you place, or you can flip everything on its head and look at it through a different lens. And I always like to say, everything, instead of everything being bad and happening to you and you being a victim, look at everything as a lesson and you being a student in a situation that you are supposed to learn from. What can you learn from that? And then all of a sudden, when you look at that, you start mapping out in your head all of these different ways that you can get on the other side of said struggle, challenge, whatever.
Absolutely. And the last two ways of getting your intentions out there and getting on this habit of setting your intentions is to keep your intentions pretty simple. To just be, something as simple as today, I will be present, or today I'm going to eat healthy things. Today I will be patient. And that is a lot of how I integrate this kind of intention setting in my day. Like today, I'm not going to let the rain get me down. I'm just not. I could, but I'm not going to. It just is what it is.
Sometimes when I know I'm going to have a conversation with a difficult person that, or something that might trigger or upset me, I will prepare for that conversation with I am in control of myself conversation. I can manage and have a positive outcome by being direct, honest, and whatever, strong. And guess what? You walk into that situation and you walk out with no regrets. Nothing was said that you wish you could take back or whatever. And it always works. And every time I go into a conversation with a bad fucking attitude, guess what happens? Bad fucking conversation.
Totally. A lesson that I learned a long time ago, going along the lines of what you're saying, I had to have a conversation with someone and she gave me so much anxiety. The thought of just being in the same fucking room as her made my heart, race a little bit, gave me like proper anxiety. And I was sharing with someone I'm like, I have to have this really difficult conversation. They're like, what about her? They asked me, they go, what about her is doing this to you? And I go, I don't know. I guess it's just her. And they go, exactly. She is just another person. She's just a human. Nothing about her is going to destroy you. She's not going to hurt you. She's just a person. And once you get that, and that was like a light bulb. I was like, why am I scared of a person? I'm not alone in a dark alley with some creep. This is just another woman who wants to be intimidating, wants me to feel scared, but I have the internal power to go, you're just another person. I don't actually have to be scared of you.
You know who taught me that? Remember when we had a conversation with Gary John Bishop, who was the author? What was the name?
I was scared of him.
And you
were
scared, and you said that to him, and he said exactly back to you what you just shared.
Yeah.
Why? I'm just a fucking person. And in that moment, I looked at every single person that I ever put on a higher level as the same person as me. And it was a life-changing little nugget.
Totally. And it's just a flip of the script, which you always bring up often. And, even like you said, going into a conversation, setting the intention, I'm going to feel strong in this conversation. I'm not going to feel scared in this conversation. Something like that. I feel like intention setting can be implemented in every moment
aspect
in life
of your life. 100%.
You guys, we will share this article. It's worth diving into a little bit more. If you want to read the whole thing from Shape Magazine, it's in our show notes. Okay, Michelle, moving on. Reading, watching, listening to. As you guys know, I'm not doing really any of the above, except for if I have a few moments, I get to read my book that I am obsessed with called Ask Andrea. It's spooky as fuck, you guys. It's basically ghost storytelling from the ghosts themselves. I mean, if I can put it in that way, and I probably will I won't have anything new for another month. So just you guys, someone pick it up, read it with me and let me know what you think. Michelle, what are you watching?
I am binging The Real Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu. This kept popping up in my TikTok feed. This is a reality TV series that follows the personal lives, very scandalous lives of 8 women who are Mormon influencers. They basically started the mom talk community. And then in 2022, there was what they refer to as swinging.
I've heard about soft
scandal. Swinging. Yes, involving different extramarital relationships among the group, which, I mean, I can't imagine what the higher ups in the Mormon community must be thinking while they're watching these influencers who are very progressive, forward thinkers, kind of breaking the mold in their community. I've actually grown to really like some of them very much.
Okay, cool.
Some of them, I want them to run from their fucking controlling, small-minded pussy boys that they are married to.
Nothing's worse than a pussy boy.
Oh my God. I'm like, sweetie, give me a call. We'll get you out of there real quick. Okay.
I honestly think that pussy boys are the ones that are so they're the worst because they are the ones that inflict that misogynistic bullshit on people because they're pussy boys.
They're setting intentions to ruin someone else's life because of their insecurities. And they all need to set intentions to run and never look back. I honestly, I can't stop watching it. It's really good. I want you to watch it so we can break down some of what's going on.
So you guys watch Pussy Boys and the Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu. I'm not listening to anything. Michelle, you're listening to a book?
Yes, I am listening to a book that I stumbled upon, I think again on my TikTok feed, and it's called Good Energy by Casey Means MD. Okay.
Doctor, yeah.
MD, I'm listening to it. You can listen to it on Spotify, which I always recommend to listen to these types of books. But here's the deal. Good Energy focuses on the role of metabolic health in overall well-being. Okay. And what she's suggesting is when your metabolic health is disrupted, it affects everything. And how you have these little signs in your body. You might get chronic sinus infections. Maybe you're struggling with autoimmune or acne.
Maybe
or
for
depression.
me, it's like my allergies.
Maybe for you, it's your allergies. And this is a doctor that's gone functional. And she's saying, here's the deal. We can't keep prescribing pills for problems. Eye-opening. I am even more kickstarted onto my quest to cut sugar out of my life completely. I support
this, and I'm here for you, and I'll do it with you.
It's such a hard one, and it is the worst thing we can put in our body, and is likely the cause of a lot of issues that people don't even realize can be fixed with subtle changes in diet and lifestyle. The good news is we can all be healthy.
We can all be healthier.
We can all be healthy, and we need to be our own best advocate and listen to our body. And when our body says something keeps flaring up, let's not get a pill first and foremost, unless we need it. Go find out what the root cause is.
So I want to share something with you. A week ago, Luna woke up with little bites all over her face and arms.
Poor thing.
Not mosquito bites. They definitely weren't, because you can tell they were different. So I was kind of worried. I was like, is this like a bed bug thing? What's going on here? Bed bugs? And we go to the pharmacist, and again, really difficult translation. She didn't speak much English. I didn't speak much, I do what I can. But we got to the root of the problem. She was like, I think they're sand flies. I think they're from the beach. So because she was kind of covered in them. They almost looked like poxes a little bit. They weren't very itchy. And I was like, well, what do I do? And she opened her little drawer and gave me calendula lotion.
Calendula. Yes. From the plant.
From the flower, from the plant. And
Well,
what do you
I
know?
noticed, and it got rid of it.
They got rid of it
Natural
within days.
anti-inflammatory.
Like literally within days,
Well,
she was cleared of this. And I just felt really, I really appreciate the fact that she didn't give me a medicated or antibiotic, like stronger balm for my kids, very little, thin baby skin, sensitive baby skin. She gave me something that is very natural. And, that's my vibe. And I'm not against medication, but I also am very for, nature's medicine.
Well, and there's also very much a need for Western medicine if you need surgery or there's an emergency situation.
Yeah, when it comes to
but when it comes to like the regular daily function and well-being of your body, like look for the source. And then also there are other things out there that aren't synthetic that can help with things
that you can tweak that your lifestyle in order to feel and do better.
Honestly, Lauren, I'm only like chapter 3 into this book. And after reading it, I am convinced our mom's health condition is an absolute 100% direct result of the medical community failing her. And this doctor
many ways.
This doctor writes this book because of her mother, who died 13 days after a pancreatic cancer diagnosis that Dr. Means says is a 100% preventable disease. The signs were there in her mom's body long before the cancer ever grew.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, Michelle, thank you for sharing that. I will be tuning into that one after I finally fucking one day finish my book, Ask Andrea.
Yep.
Let's move on to our last and final segment of our show. What are you doing from cozy, mindful well-being? I'll kick it off real quick. I am setting an intention. This is the last 2 weeks of this trip. And I feel like since we're on the move, it's going to go by a little bit faster than that kind of moment where we're just at the beach house for 2 weeks. And so my intention is to take these next 2 weeks very slowly. I don't want to, I'm excited to get to Rome because I'm going to see my friends, but I don't want to rush it because there's so much in between then and now. So I am intentionally really pulling back the reins and just taking it day by day.
Love it. Good for you. I have to say after the 9 days of me coming back, there was some sort of an imprint on the slower pace life because my mindset, my everything when I got here, I didn't have that normal re-entry that I call it like Willie's. I was like, life will figure it out.
Because what's the willies for? What are you going to have the willies about?
All the lies.
That you were in Italy?
Those bad intentions that I need to just
truly.
Keep up with.
You missed out on this and you got this and you got to no, you're good, girl. You just got back from Italy. Enjoy. What about you, Michelle? What are you doing for cozy, mindful well-being?
Honestly, I'm using Chat GPT. It's improved my quality of life and created more space for me to slow down, care less, and do more of nothing or play just a shitload of pickle. And I just have to say it's saving me time in ways that I didn't know possible, and I worship it. I just went back and looked at my most recent search of why am I using it? And these are some examples for folks that might be like, why would anybody use this? This is whatever. At understanding pickleball terms. Recently, a passive aggressive player referred to something that I hit over the net as a meatball. I didn't know what that was. So when I got to the bleacher, I realized that that's a shitty shot that you set your partner up for getting nailed. So that wasn't a good thing. Yep.
That's not a good thing.
Yep. I learned how to create the registered trademark symbol. I looked up.
You did.
Rome's Jubilee when Mia and I were driving through Rome and they were like, buckle up. The construction's going to be insane for this Jubilee. I'm like, well, what the heck is that for? Boom. It's all there. It just is a time saver. It's an information quick giver and I'm here for it. Improving my life.
We have used ChatGPT to I will take a photo of a parking sign that's I don't understand at all because it looks like there's a tow. I mean, I understand that you can get towed, but I'll take a photo. So you guys, if you are in another country and you don't stand what the hell you're looking at, take a photo and ChatGPT and always double check. They even say we are not 100%, but it is very helpful. All right. Well, with that being said, you guys listen. Whatever it is, wherever you are in your day today, set that intention. Just make it part of your everyday, little by little, and then it becomes part of your everyday life.
Love it.
But I think one of the foremost intentions that we always want you to do is to always
stay cozy, listener.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.